The Trial of Fear. When you are in a forest near when the sun sets, you feel safe for the moment. But when the sun goes down and all is cloaked in darkness, you become afraid. Why is this when just a moment ago you felt fine? It's because you cannot see or know what is around you now. Your fear, anxiety, and adrenaline are at an all-time high as you try to find your way out of the darkness of the forest, and your mind imagining the worst as you hear twigs break and trees creaking. But all you can do is impatiently await the sun's next arrival, waiting for the light to save you. When the sun finally comes up, all fear vanishes, and you can know what was previously hidden, and find your way out of the forest. There is correspondence in this, you must understand. Fear corresponds to darkness, and darkness to ignorance. Light corresponds to seeing, and seeing to knowing. So through this correspondence between life and the mind, we can understand that the only way past fear, then, is through understanding it, by shining a mental light on it. If you are afraid of a mental concept like death, then you must understand it. If you are afraid of something in the physical world, expose yourself to it. What you fear is only fear because it's kept in darkness. So, expose it to the light. Fear is a fetter. Do not let it rule over your actions. The Trial of Lust. Most men and women in such a society as ours are woefully incapable of resisting any slight temptation. They have become possessed and spellbound by lust and pleasure. Rise above lust and temptation, not temporarily. It must be permanent, because you must want to be better as a person, to look at another human and see their internal qualities, not their external offerings. See and treat both genders as you would your own gender. Do not reserve better or different behavior for the opposing gender because of anticipation for sexual pleasure. Be yourself, and when you remove the anticipation of courtship or pleasure as an influence to your behavior, you will find yourself much more desirable to others. This is an act of purity, and purity is the foundation for everything else wonderful that the human is capable of expressing into the world. Get out of the dark abyss of lust and step into the light of love. The Trial of Food. The bodily necessity for food is not a noble function. That we must kill in order to survive is to be treated in a certain way, with reverence. But now it has become a pleasurable hobby for many. There are many natural consequences to this wrong behavior towards food that we call gluttony, correct? So it is incorrect. It seems many enjoy the sacrifice of other life without respect or homage to it. And this is in great part to our society's way of providing food for us, instead of us having to do the dirty work and seeing what we are doing to life in order to sustain our own. Even though we live in strange times, we must reverse the modern inherited way of thinking about food and acquire the perspective of the past. Do not fall victim to the endless concoctions and blends of food, pumped full of pleasure, salt, and sugar, or you will find out later of its error. The common test to prove you have not become victim to gluttony is fasting. And in many spiritual practices, fasting for 3 days and 3 nights is the trial that must be undertaken. This is also done to achieve visions and spiritual guidance or assistance. Understand that food, whether vegetable or animal, is sacrifice, and you should give thanks and eat only when needed, not as a hobby. The trial of pain. Ancient and past cultures have always had trials of pain to endure for men, not just to prove their manhood and leadership capabilities, but even for health reasons. Pain and suffering is a medicine to those who are not true men, and that's why many adults remain in mental adolescence, because they have never known pain and suffering. I'm not suggesting that you willingly hurt yourself, but know that if you have disharmonious qualities, you must endure the trial of pain for behavioral correction in whatever way it decides to meet you. If you are vain and immature, incapable of compassion, go out into the wilderness alone for a week and see how long your attitude lasts. A man may be a man by biology, but a true man is mentally hermaphrodite, or married, meaning he possesses both qualities from each gender, fighting for what is right, but also walking gently through life, reserving sympathy, understanding, and compassion for other life. Pain and suffering teaches this to those that need it. The Trail of Humiliation. Mockery is reserved for those who have more problems than their victim. Prove your mental foundation is unshakable by being able to endure humiliation or mockery from others. I'm not suggesting humiliate yourself intentionally, but if the circumstance arises and tests you, do not let your cheeks get flushed, become embarrassed, and feel shamed. For embarrassment is only for those who are not steadfast to their will and beliefs. Feeling shamed by others means you feel you should conform to others, but do not give in. Be your own uniqueness, and do not be swayed by the influences of others. Prove your strength by being immune to humiliation. Showing you are susceptible to such an influence only fans the fire for the mocker anyway. The Trail of Solitude. You will never find yourself if you're always involved in the noise and distractions of others. Many cannot stand being alone, yet it is because they rely so much on others to keep them full. If you rely on others to keep you full, you will never have a stable foundation, while ignoring the most precious and unique thing there is to know, yourself. I would argue that solitude gives you more than company does. You pay attention to things more. Your sight and feelings penetrate deeper into things, where you can extract more powerful emotions and understanding. You enter into yourself more and become more introspective. All of this leading to a more spiritual or religious life, of which there can be no greater endeavor, because there is a great depth to the self, and what is hiding within you has more value than all that the world could ever offer. Noise is the activity of the body. Silence is the activity of the spirit. Do not neglect yourself and your soul, given it is the most unique thing in the universe. Only through the self are you able to reach the other side.